What's up? This this has been pretty tough as I'm getting ready, preparing to leave my home. This has been really tough, y'all. I must say, this has been pretty tough. Um, Man, it's shocking. The more people investigate, the more things are being found out, and you're just like you don't even almost don't want to open up your your internet because you're like, oh no, not something else. You just don't want to be in that situation. It's I wish I was headed to Florida. Well, here's the thing. They're trying to they grounded all of their flights. We're gonna get to it so that we can get done with it. So, right, I'm trying not to make it long. Because one, I got somewhere to be, but I just want to give people the details. Um, the helicopter that was carrying Kobe was not certified. And what they mean by that, meaning that it wasn't what they would call IFR, and that's for like flight instruments being used on that flight. He was struggling to avoid the clouds. One, he didn't have the legal authorization to navigate with his instruments because the aircraft owner, the owner of the aircraft, did not have the necessary federal certifications. And according to three people familiar with the charter helicopter company's operation, Island Express Helicopters, which owned the plane, had a Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) operating certification that limited their pilots to fly under what is known as VFR routes. So we're going to go to IFR and VFR. Now, all of their flights are supposed to be VFR. So Island Express Helicopters, during the investigation, has informed everyone. Thanks, Mel. I appreciate it, but feel more sorry for those families. Those families, they're gonna need it a lot more than me, because they gotta feel that every day. That's a void that's never gonna be fixed, and they gotta go into a new reality now. You know, This guy has flown Kobe plenty of times, so it's not like he's a starstruck guy. He's flown Kawhi Leonard and he's flown Kobe Bryant. So he flies them all the time. So it's not like this guy was like starstruck. Now let's talk about it. The FAA operating certifications that limited its pilots to flying under what is known as VFR rules. That means 3 miles of visibility on a cloud ceiling no lower than 1,000 feet above the ground. The company did not even have certifications for its pilots to fly with instruments. And Kurt Dietz is a pilot and former safety manager from the company. The helicopter had sophisticated instruments on board that the FAA had approved for what they call instrument flight. And the pilot was certified to fly by them, but because of limitations on how the company is approved by the FAA to operate when carrying passengers for hire, he was required to fly only in conditions of sufficient visibility to navigate visually. And the limitation that's put on Island Express and all the stuff they do is not something that's unusual. Other companies, like at the Van Nuys Airport, where LeBron James normally was flying in from, and a lot of other people from the Lakers, they normally fly in through Van Nuys. None of the charter operators there have gone to the trouble of the expense of winning a certification for instrument flight, because in part it's normally so simple to navigate at low altitude in Southern California. You got freeways, sunny weather. You know, it's very rare that you would have to use an instrument for flight. But now we kind of know why the pilot did not file an instrument plan that would have allowed him to climb well above the fog and the hills and everything else. Mhm. His last message before the crash, the pilot called and said he was climbing to avoid cloud layer. Now, the former pilot, Kurt Dietz, also said the only way you could be in the clouds on an IFR flight or if you fly in IFR, which is instrument flight, is because you had a flight plan or by accident. Now, we told you visual flight rules and instrument flight rules. These are the two different rules. To make it more simpler to people, visual flight rules is like the standard when you're flying celebrities or anyone else, and you got very important people there, and you're in a very visual area. There were a lot of red flags in this flight that this should have never happened. When the LAPD and the county sheriff canceled flights, no, it wasn't. It doesn't mean it wasn't capable of flying. That plane is equipped. It's heavy. The plane that he was on is heavily equipped for instrument flying. It's just that they don't recommend flying IFR. They're only certified to fly VFR. So if it's visually flight rules. But the pilot is certified, he's trained to fly at IFR. I'll be right back. So when you're certified to do that, it's a terrible accident that should have never happened. So the company has decided to ground all their flights in the wake of this situation. The FBI is investigating right along with the FAA and everybody else. They want to know why this pilot decided to fly IFR when they are exclusively VFR rules. So if you're flying VFR, that means it's only going to be clear and sunny days where you're going to be flying, which is the majority of the time in California. So there's no need to really even use any instruments to fly. Even though that plane, we already know it had instruments on it, but that plane that they used was 30 years old. And that plane did not have any modifications to warn them when they get near high heels. So again, it was just a lot of red flags that went along with this flight. So the only good thing about this that you could take from it is that maybe it will save more lives down the road from those 9 people losing their lives. Maybe all provisions, there will have to be a checklist that goes on before someone gets on the flight and goes somewhere. That's what I'm hoping. No, Kobe leased the plane. He doesn't own it. It is owned by these people at Island. Island owns them. So they're leasing out the planes. They're the ones who are grounding all their planes right now. But it seems here because of his instruments that he had, that's why he didn't radio it in, because he already had the instruments. And he felt with the plane he had, he could just use his instruments because he's certified to use, he's qualified rather, to fly with instruments. The pilot is. But the company, they don't do these flights. They're not, so as a company, they're not by the FAA, they're not even certified to use equipments on a plane. And the weather was too overwhelming for him. So, like I said, it's a list of incidents, and Island Express helicopters are going to ground all flights. He never owned the helicopter, only leasing it. I heard something too, like Russell Westbrook said that he's not taking a helicopter no more, or Russell Wilson. He said he's completely stopped taking helicopter flights. He was calling me from Vegas. I normally take Vegas calls, but then sometimes I don't. That could be Floyd. So you say it wasn't the pilot's fault, it was the air traffic control that told him to pull up. Pulling up isn't what got him in trouble. Because they were told to pull up because they were very low and right near the mountains. So you're of course you're gonna tell somebody to pull up. Yeah, I gotta head out, man. So I don't know what Willie D has to do with Kobe Bryant, but in this situation here, what he said about Barkley, that was in poor taste. You know, he might not agree, but I think it's in poor taste. I never liked helicopters. Never liked them. But thanks again, man, for all the support. Thanks for liking the videos and making sure that people get to see them and they get educated. And instead of people just making stuff up and just going off of what they think is going on with conspiracy theories. That's why I ask people make sure you like the video so that they will be able to share it and that the whole world could see it and get the right information about what's going on with the flights. Right. That's why I'm not slinging theories in the air. Justin Justin Shields, not much. You know it. Everybody in the world got this jacket. Every time I walk past somebody, it's somebody with this jacket. Somebody was in a movie with this jacket on. I was like, somebody wearing my jacket in a movie. And he was a terrorist too. What was it called? Miss Bala. Oh, they are playing tonight. And everybody in there is going to be wearing Kobe shirts, 8s and 24s across the board. Across the board. They got it all set up to go. Oh, I bet heavy on the Lakers tonight. Absolutely, I did. So let me get out of here. Yeah, Portland. There's no way Portland walks out of here with a victory tonight. Oh yeah, this this will be taken care of. I'll try to get back to go live for the game. I'm out.